to another empowering episode of Every Woman. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Delaware Health Equity Coalition. I'm your host, Heather Cox, and today we're exploring her next chapter, the power of higher education and returning to school. I myself went back to school later in life after a bumpy start in higher education, so I'm super excited about this conversation with you ladies. Joining me is an incredible panel of women who have each navigated their own unique journeys, some returning to school to redefine their careers, and others making an impact in the world of higher education itself. I'm sure each of them have words of wisdom and impactful stories about going back to school and being an advocate in the space. But before we get started, I'd love for each of our panelists to introduce and share a little bit about themselves. Diane?
Hello, my name is Diane Cox. I am the president of Diamond State Tutoring. I was a public school teacher for 25 years, teaching English language arts and also as a reading specialist. I was fortunate to receive many state and national awards. As a reading specialist, I spoke at professional workshops throughout the country. After speaking at Purdue University, I won a national award for reading in the content areas by the International Reading Association. I taught reading in the content areas at the University of Delaware, and I've also co-authored 2 textbooks, Biology Living Systems and How to Master Science Labs.
Wow, that's very nice and amazing.
I love academia, and I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
That's good.
Sharece.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sharece Sellem-Hannah. I am a peer educator at the Mental Health Association of Delaware. Peer education is basically, we work with individuals who've gone through recovery who want to work with others in recovery. So it really matches lived experience with professionalism. Also, I am an award-winning playwright and a filmmaker, and I'm pursuing my master's degree in community health and prevention science, graduating this December. Thank you. From the University of Cincinnati, Ohio online site.
Amazing. Lisa Marie, welcome.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Lisa Marie Jackson here. I am a mom, a wife, a board president, entrepreneur, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president of the Fresh Start Scholarship Foundation, an organization that has been rooted in this community as it relates to higher education and providing grants and scholarships and mentorship to adult women who are looking to go back to college. And so it's wonderful to be here with these amazing ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lisa. And last but not least, my dear.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gigi Gaul. I have held a variety of different roles in higher education, and I have the pleasure of being the Assistant Director for Graduate Admissions at Goldey-Beacom College. If you're not familiar with Goldey-Beacom, we are a private college located in Pike Creek, Delaware, with a variety of bachelor's and master's programs, and we pride ourselves on a 90% placement rate. I really enjoy working with students as well as graduate professionals that are coming back to school.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And again, another round of applause for these incredible women. And again, let's start getting into this conversation. Let's start with you. I really want to talk about the strength in education because I myself went back to school after getting divorced and I had a 1-year-old on my hip. So, and I know you said you're also currently in school and kind of finishing up. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what do you find the strength in education?
Yeah, so education does so much. It's more than just, getting a higher paying job. It really expands your mind. And I found it to be something that's been extremely useful for me in my career and just me as a whole, as a person, right? Yeah. So I would say, I went through a really rough patch myself, right? Going through, low income, poverty. I was rooming. I was trying to juggle 3 jobs and still really wanted to go back to school. I knew school was the answer for me. And around 28 years old, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna go to community college, get the ball rolling. And it was so difficult because I could not get financial aid because I didn't have A's when I was in high school.
Right.
So I had to pay. I had to pay for that. So I had to start paying out of pocket. Right. And then that's what got me started. And then I was eligible for financial aid. Then I was able to go. But it took me 9 years to get my associate's degree. Oh my God. Which really should be about 2 years, but I did it.
Congratulations.
I did it, right? Yeah, I got my associate's degree in liberal arts and sciences. And then once I got used to going to school online, I was like, I'm just gonna do this. Yeah. I just took off with that. Went to charter Oak college online, state college online, and was able to finish my bachelor's in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then here I am now finishing my master's degree, community health prevention science. So
That is so amazing.
that's been the journey in a nutshell.
Yes.
That
Do you
has given
feel
me
like,
strength.
do you feel like you have more strength now than you did prior to education?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially working in human services and in the arts. It made me more confident. You know a lot when you're working in the field, working with people, but when you have that education, it really rounds out your point of view.
Yeah. So Diane, you've spoken to tons of people in regards to continuing their education. And I know you've helped people find their strength in continuing their education. Can you expand on that?
Okay, yes. First, I'd like to say, though, for 17 years, I worked with 7th graders at HB DuPont Middle School. And what I stressed to them was education is the key to success, whether it's education in a college setting or education in a trade school, whatever ignites you or it makes you happy, and et cetera. Right now, there's a big teacher shortage in Delaware and nationally. And many professionals are reconsidering careers. And in Delaware, in order to be certified to teach, get your teaching license, you have to pass the praxis. So Diamond State Tutoring, and myself doing it, we've been tutoring a lot of teachers to help them pass the praxis test. Because someone might have a degree in math and work in industry, or a degree in English and work for a newspaper or something, and think, okay, maybe I want to go back and be a teacher. And so we've done a lot of tutoring for the praxis lately.
So do you find that you're seeing a lot more people who are later in life, older, kind of pivoting to become teachers and seeing a lot of people taking the praxis?
I get both.
Yeah.
I get students who, University of Delaware right now is requiring students take the praxis before they graduate. Because to apply for certification, you have to have taken the praxis. And they want everybody to apply for certification after they've student taught. So I have college students, I have postgraduate, and I have older people that want to become educators.
That's amazing.
Second career or, whatever.
That's such a great, a new direction for if somebody is looking for, a new career or something to give back to the community. I think becoming a teacher, I think, is a huge bonus and such a great thing to do. So, and you probably get a lot of mothers, yes, coming in there and continuing their education. So, Lisa Marie, in regards to, education and being a mom, right? You have a couple of your kids here, right? So, how do you feel that education has empowered you as a mom and as a woman and, in motherhood?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So when I think about myself and my educational journey, so just a little backstory, if you can bear with me.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Jamaica, in one of the most rural parts of Jamaica. I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandmother has a 4th grade level reading, right? And so even though that was her situation, she knew that she wanted her kids to be able to achieve the dream of a higher education. And so her and my grandfather worked so hard to make sure that my parents, as well as her grandchildren, were able to achieve the dream of higher education. And I see the ripple effect that has allowed, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about myself as a mom and I think about the opportunities I want to be able to give to my children, right? That all comes down to being able to not only be self-actualized, right? But also to be able to say, okay, I want to work really hard because I want to give them opportunities. And education is that equalizer, right?
Yes.
So when you think about the quality of education that you want your kids to have, it really depends on, sadly, where you live, where you live. And so sometimes that's private schools, right? Access is a huge thing, right? When I think about the board that I serve on, majority of the ladies that we support are they're mothers. They're mothers with children. They're juggling work. They're juggling family life. They're juggling going to school and working a full 12 hours and then coming home and then having to do homework. That's not an easy thing, right?
No, it's not.
And so when we think about education, we really have to think about access and just making it accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
I just think that's really important.
Yeah, and part of that access part, I feel like it's like you said, like you mentioned, you were like off to the races when you got online to go to school. So I feel as though that the online space has actually given more access to those to go to school. I know I went back to edx.org for all of my certifications. I didn't even know that existed, right? So when I found that online, I was like you, I was like off to the races. So, but challenging, motherhood is also hard, like you said, balancing that life, that motherhood, life in school, from career and relationships as well. So Gigi, do you see a lot of people, like I know you work at Goldey-Beacom, right? Yeah. So it's like, do you see a lot of people struggle with like balancing that school life?
Using your resources. Mm-hmm. So it's setting yourself up for success.
Yes.
Whether you're a working mom, whether you're going back to school, really having the support services around you, whether it's family members, a husband, a family member, helping you with your children, helping balance that workload. Yes. But also setting yourself up with mentors and key people that are in your life that are going to help you get through those next steps, whether it's your advisor at the school, using the resources at the school, like the tutoring center, or talking with faculty members. Finding those people that are really going to support your journey is really going to help you with that balance.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And has anybody had a mentor in regards to their higher education here? Anybody?
I definitely did.
Yeah,
I had several. Did? I mean, that just encouraged me. I did my bachelor's and my master's, and having somebody to look up to and somebody who had done it before. Yeah. To be able to say this is achievable, you can step into this, take one step at a time, was really impactful.
Yeah, and Diane, I know you've probably been like a mentor to a ton of kids.
I've been a mentor, and I've had mentors when I got my master's.
Okay.
Dr. McCourt and Dr. Pelosi years ago. I hope they're here.
Yeah.
They're here. Mentors I think are invaluable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think in undergrad, they call them advisors. Same thing. Someone that you can count on to help guide your...
And it can be family. It can be fellow classmates. It can be people that are further along in the program, too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to add, too, that one of my professors, he was so passionate about human services, and that kind of sparked my interest. And he and I stayed in touch over the years. I was involved in the arts too, so I was, putting on plays and things, and he would come to the plays. So him being involved in that way, I just found that to be awesome, and it helped me and encouraged me on my journey.
Yeah, because it is hard. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, I really think it's important. It's important. It doesn't matter what phase you are in your life to have mentors and sponsors, right? Yeah. And so you need a mentor to be able to help to guide you, give you advice, give you that boost, that confidence boost. Yeah. But you also need people who can actually move the needle for you, people who can advocate for you, right? So we talk about advisors on a campus, right? I mean, think about being a single mom or a mom, juggling so many things. It's highly likely that you're probably going to miss an assignment, right? Yeah. So you need someone who is there, who can understand your situation and advocate for you, right? Not necessarily to give you a pass, but be able to say, I see you, and I'm here for you, and I'm here to support you. So I think that's very important.
For sure. Diane, you wanted to say?
We're talking about higher education, and I think one really obvious reason why a lot of people go back to school. Think about it. When most kids go to college, they're 18, 19, starting freshman year. And they're not really sure what they want to do or what they want, how they want to spend their careers. So they're taking classes, and advisors can certainly help with, okay, you like math, you're strong in English, you like to write, you have a great personality, maybe you should go into marketing, whatever. But sometimes the classes they take do not actually mirror what they're going to do on the job. Right. So I think a lot of times the advisors help with the course selection and giving them some practicum experience, giving them ways to get internships, all of that, to guide them in their careers. But then I think a lot of people get out, and let's give the example of business, and they go in entry level, and they might be doing some sales or telemarketing or whatever, and then they see accountants, marketing, sales, human resources, and decide, oh, I really think my personality and my interests would fit best in this area, and they want to go back to school to pursue that avenue.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to speak my truth here. I actually dropped out twice. Dropped out of UD when I was 18, 19. I dropped out of Del Tech because I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like I thought I wanted to go and work at hotel restaurant management. Now, granted, I do love the hospitality industry. That's what I work in, but waking up at 4 in the morning on a Thursday to go work at Vita Nova was not in the cards for me. I did not want to go make rolls at 4 a.m. So, so I dropped out. And then so just being able to have that access, right? To be able to go back to school after you kind of figure out who you are, because you really don't know who you are when you're 18, So going back to the mentors, then talking about the importance of support systems, because I know every woman here on this couch has a support system, because if we didn't, I don't think we would be here where we're at, especially in education. So talk to me, Gigi, everybody here, a little bit about the importance of support systems.
I think anytime you're going to make a commitment for yourself, you're going to make a goal for yourself, whether it's going back to school, a certificate program, taking some continuing education classes, you want to make sure that the people around you are going to support you. And that can be anything from your family. If you're close with your family, that can be a spouse or a significant other. That can also be your boss and the people you work for and work with. I'm a big fan of, working with your employer and looking at education and how it really aligns with where you work and where you're going to school and what you're studying, and having a boss or a mentor or a leader that is encouraging you in that program is incredibly valuable as well.
Yeah, and especially because I know a lot of people do not have that as in a boss or, so a higher up. They don't really have that, support system behind them, even at their job, even though they want to further their career and they want to go back to school. A lot of people don't have that.
I think one thing to mention too, when it comes to support system, it's okay to take as long as you need to take. So I love that you shared your time frame of doing a associate's degree to a bachelor's degree to a master's degree. It's okay to go on your schedule and what you need. It's one step at a time. It's pursuing your education and continuing to learn and stepping into what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think, it's great if you got a lot of drive and you can focus on it, but your environment makes a huge difference. Yes. The people in your life make a huge difference. How they talk about school, right? Yes. They're like, "Oh, you don't need to do that." I'm like, don't mess me up now. I'm trying to stay focused, So I think it's important that we have cheerleaders in our corner and people who feel positively about it, so you can talk about the experience with them and not have naysayers. Right?
Yeah. I also feel like your interests and where you are in life evolves. Yeah. And what you want to do in your 20s, you may want to change in career-wise in your 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm the oldest one on this panel, and I can say, I've done a lot of different things, from writing textbooks, teaching school, the middle school level, university level. What you want to do changes, and you want to broaden your horizons.
Yeah. Yeah, I can add to that. It's so fun to reinvent yourself, right? It is. And just to give yourself, and just to give yourself permission to do that, right? Because we evolve, right? Yeah. And there's so many certificate programs out now where you can just get a certificate in 3 months and, just have the skills that you need to go to that next level, or even if you need to do a full pivot. Right, and there's certificate programs there. So I don't think it has to be this grandiose thing where you have to overthink it. I agree with what you said. Just go at your own pace and give yourself permission to reinvent yourself.
I love that point. That's such a great point. And not to completely take us off course, go for it. But that was my experience when I decided to then now go on to my bachelor's. I was like, well, I need some sort of degree that's a little bit more flexible. I don't want to get something so specific. So I chose a degree in American Studies. That gives me a foundation for whatever I want to then take next.
Right. Yeah.
So, you might want to give yourself some flexibility if you're confused about where do I start? What do I?
Exactly. Yeah. You can step into something, put your we have certificates. You step into a certificate, learn a little bit about a certain topic, and then decide what your next step is going to be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Actually, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's so funny you brought that up, because I'm going to be going back to the edx.org, and I think it's Curtin University about robots and bots online. Because I want to learn because 43% of the internet is robots just talking to each other. So that's something Yes, and AI, right? So it's something it's something that is naturally the next step. So why not use certificates or education to further that agenda, right?
What I love about that, Heather, too, and you mentioned we're all changing, right? Everything we're looking for, and we're continually learning. So is the world around us.
Yes.
Right? So the day I stop learning is the day I stop doing anything.
Right.
I'm going to keep
Stop
learning
breathing,
forever.
essentially.
You know, and I'm always going to be looking for an opportunity to learn, whether I'm watching something on YouTube, whether I'm taking a certificate program, whether I'm getting another degree. Embracing lifelong learning is a part of us as human beings and people and women.
Yes, and let me just touch on that point about YouTube University because a lot of people learn so much from YouTube, and that's so funny because a lot of the classes, and I guess this is a little hack for everybody. Go over to YouTube and just look up EDX, and they have all of their courses are like recorded, and so you like go over to like. So I had to watch YouTube to watch my class to then do my thing. So like I'm just saying, it's out in the public domain. So, but ladies, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back.
Looking for a reliable and efficient way to travel around Delaware? DART has a variety of routes and schedules to meet your needs, providing service in Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties. Whether you are commuting to work or exploring the sights and sounds of the state, our fleet of buses are well maintained, equipped with modern amenities. Public transportation is the greener alternative. Plan your trip today. Download our transit apps or visit dartfirststate.com.
If you're a woman that needs help and needs some wraparound services, we at the Delaware Health Equity Coalition, Dr. Sydney Teal, Dr. Velma Scantleberry, and myself, we'd be more than happy to see you. We are located right in 19802 on Boehner Boulevard. See you soon.
Hello and welcome back to Every Woman. We are talking about her next chapter, the power of going back to school. Let's just get back right into it. So the mom guilt. Like when we are away from our babies or our kids and we are trying to finish our school, try to finish that course, try to finish that assignment on time. Let's talk about the mom guilt. Like how do you get over it? Like what do you do?
Yeah. So a very wise lady, when I had my time in corporate America, she shared with me that it's just really important to be rooted where you are, right? So when you're at work, you give that 110%. When you're at home and you're with your babies, turn off the computer, turn off your cell phone, and tune in and be present with your children. That's so important. And I think once you're able to balance that and have a good grasp of that, the mom guilt doesn't go away.
No.
I will say that. But it's so much easier when you know that you're giving your full self to your children and doing the best that you can. I think just tapping into yourself as much as you can and just to check that. I think that really helps.
Yeah, the mom guilt doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
At all. What about you? Anybody? Oh, man. Yeah. Who has kids on this couch? I know I have 3. And my mom guilt never goes away, like ever. I'm here right now. And my kid did not want me to be here. So
Well, I have stepchildren.
okay. Well, you're still a mom though.
Yes.
I have 2 stepkids and I still call them 3. You know what I mean? I still have 3. So
And the one that lives with us, she is grown. And she takes care of herself really well, but we do take some time to chat with each other and cook and talk and all of that good stuff. So I've been very fortunate to be able to have
you found
the
that balance.
Yeah, and my husband is incredible. He cleans. He does laundry. Yeah, he does laundry. He does the dishes. Like these things kind of take the weight off so that I can focus on school. Like there's a lot of things that we're juggling at home. He's also in school, so like we try to be good to each other and make sure we're balancing everything at home. But our daughter, she's doing her own thing. She's a high schooler, she's she's all right.
I love that you mentioned like balance, because I think that kind of brings up that point of just giving yourself grace and realizing that you're doing the best you can do in the present moment, like you mentioned, and just recognizing that what you're doing by investing in yourself in education is creating a ripple effect as a mom,
Yeah. Not only that, you're modeling
You're modeling
children.
Yes.
I model for my children the importance of education, the value of it, how it can be fun and empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like like my daughter she's 8 and I've gone through 3 certifications last year because I was just like, like you said, like off to the races when I found out it was online. So I was taking like 2 certifications at once because why not?
Right.
And like my daughter would like see me doing my class and like doing my presentation or whatever. And she's just like, she would tell me, she would come in clapping like, good job, Mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like thank you so much. So
Some of my favorite memories doing my master's were having my niece next to me doing her homework.
yeah.
Watching, working alongside of her. She's 13 now. Just getting to show her like school is valuable. What I'm learning right now is valuable, and what you're learning right now is valuable.
And I also think it shows a different path that they can take. Like you mentioned, it's like they can go to a trade school. Maybe they don't know what they want to do at 18 when they are supposed to start their higher education. Maybe take a gap year, 2, 3, whatever. Once you find that passion, then it kind of shows them like there's a different path that you can take it. Yeah. Not everybody's the same. Yeah. Not every schooling will be the same, right?
Yeah. I think it's so important for kids to see their moms being fulfilled in whatever capacity that is. Mm-hmm. Being able to pursue your dreams and go at it with full ferocity and having your children witness that. Yes. I just think that is just so badass, right?
No, it really is. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And I think, you're giving them permission to chase their dreams as well, and however that shows up.
Love that. And research has shown over and over again, children learn by example.
Yes.
Not what you tell. It's great to talk to them and tell them things, but they learn by observing what their parents are doing. So it's a big thing.
And I think there's something to be said with including them in that too, like telling them what you're learning about in your classes. We have conversations about salary. We're like, okay, so she's like, so if I pursue this, what would my salary look like? I'm like, well, by the time you reach that age, maybe it'll be this, so it gets them thinking about that. And that's a great point.
So going past the mom guilt, what about the relationship guilt? Because I know I have cut off many a date from my husband being like, I have a presentation or I have a assignment due tomorrow. I can't go out to dinner with you. I know that was our date night, but I can't. And it's great to have supportive husbands or partners. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is to have somebody be super supportive. And so I know who is here in a relationship and they have so now you say your husband is super supportive and does all the cooking and cleaning, a lot of it, not all.
I do the cooking.
But
cleaning and laundry. But we try to be intentional about setting aside time, but we're not perfect, right? I try, he tries. But it's just, setting aside block time. We love Sunday mornings. That's our thing. So we try to find a cute little cafe, sit down with our laptops, open them up, do a little bit of work and just talk with each other. So,
That's nice.
I like that example because it's sort of like a both and example, right? We can work together. We can go to school at the same time. Right. We can do both, but then we can also be intentional in the time that we spend one-on-one. Yeah. It's kind of looking at it as you can have both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just amazing. So I really want to give some more actionable tips in regards to navigating the financial aid and the scholarships. I know you probably ever oh my gosh, but yes, you probably have a lot of experience with that. Yeah.
Yes, but I have a hack for you.
Oh,
okay.
A good hack.
Interested in going back to school. If you speak a foreign language, there's a possibility that you can take what's called a Klip exam. So I forgot what it stands for. Klip, C-L-E-P. And I was able to, because I speak French and took a class back in high school, learned how to read it and write it as well, was able to get 6 credits, Klip. And so I was able to use that towards my transcript, and I was able to not have to take on 2 additional French classes.
Oh, wow.
So, but they have other subjects too. So there's biology, they have English 101. So there's different classes. So you basically take an exam instead of going to class. that saves a ton of time. So
That's
yeah.
really smart.
I definitely think doing your research into the school you're going to, how they'll accept credits. So whether you went to school at one point and you have some credits from an associate's degree, or maybe you have some credits from an exam or an AP course from high school, anything like that, doing your research, talking to people at the school, talking to people who've done it before, and figuring out what's the easiest way and what can I get in here to make this more accessible for me is definitely valuable.
Yeah,
for sure.
I will add to that, like financial aid is such a huge topic, and I feel like you have to be able to decode like all of the language and the verbiage.
Yeah.
And my recommendation for this is to maximize grants and scholarships as much as possible. So everybody likes free money, go after that free money.
Yes.
And I like to tell my colleagues going back to school that, listen, pull out a spreadsheet, drop in all of the grants. Well, first you have to look at the full picture. First you have to see how much does college cost. And it's not just your tuition, but you also have to factor in your expenses as well, like books, travel, any other higher education related expenses. Estimate those, put that on a spreadsheet, and then you look at, okay, how much do I have in grants and scholarships? I cannot tell you how every year millions of dollars go unclaimed in scholarships, really. And I'm not just talking about for the 18-year-olds going off to college, but also for adult women and men as well. There are scholarships out there for literally everything that you can think of. So I really think it's so important to just know where you are, know what your situation is, and know what you can afford. And just going back to what you said earlier about just knowing, so, okay, if you're pursuing this line of study, it's so important for you to know like what the average salary is going to be, because you're truly making an investment in yourself. And I tell everyone, education is a smart investment, but you have to be smart about how you navigate paying for it, right?
Yes.
And
research.
Do your research, do your research, maximize scholarships and grants, and don't forget to negotiate, right? You can go back to your financial aid office and say, hey, this is my situation. I can afford this. There's no way I'm going to be able to swing this. What can you do for me? And you have to do it.
You can negotiate?
You absolutely can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Did not
You
know
should.
that.
I want to kind of echo what she says. Get a better understanding of what type of scholarships your institution is also providing. So whether it's a merit scholarship based on high school GPA or a specific scholarship based on certain attributes and places that you worked or things that you've done. Also talk to your institution. So payment plans, investments with where you work. Employee reimbursement is a big deal for women working full time. Look and see if your employer pays for tuition benefits. And do they work specifically with an academic college? Do they already have a partnership that exists? So those are all things that I try to talk with students about when they're coming back to school. What's your employer benefit? What financial aid is available? And then what external scholarships can you research and leverage? Because it's all available. It's just doing the research.
Right. Yeah.
I just want to add too, I know we were talking about online colleges and we're fans of online college, but we need to also do our research on that too and make sure that the online college that we're applying for is credible.
Yes.
Right, is accredited. Because with financial aid, if they don't take financial aid, that's actually a red flag. Right? That means there's something up with the accreditation. All right, so that's just a little tip because it's really important.
Yeah, that really, and that's when I was doing my research to find certification courses to go back to, because I wanted to, the one that I went to was at University of Delaware in like 2019, and that was for social media. But like 2019 to now, that's 5 years. Do you know how much the social landscape, everything has changed for 5 years. So having to re-educate yourself and stay up on your education. And when I was looking for it, I was like, okay, I could go to this course that this Joe Schmo made on the internet with no accreditation whatsoever. And then, it happens a lot to people online. But when I was looking, I was like, okay, I'm going to find some accredited, credible, sources. So that's why I was drawn to the whole EDX thing. Cause there's so many that Harvard and, Cornell is on there. So
Something I wanted to add is sometimes it can be so intimidating going back to school. And maybe you're not super tech savvy. So the research process and the FAFSA can be completely intimidating and you're not quite sure how to do it. Finding somewhere local where you can walk in and see the financial aid department or sit down with someone and say, can you walk me through this? I can't tell you how many times I've talked to my mom about that topic, and sitting down with someone one-on-one and having someone guide you through it can be really impactful as a part of the journey.
For sure. Really can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, this has been an amazing conversation. Is there anything else that you ladies want to give, like actionable, to help if whoever's watching who wants to go back and start a new journey in their career or their education?
Books.
Okay.
Don't buy the books from the school. Buy them on Amazon, okay? Take that ISBN number, copy, paste, and put it right in Amazon. And then you'll see you can get used books or Chegg. Chegg is a good site too. I don't know those people, they don't know me. I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying, that's just a cheaper way to get books. And then also you can rent books. So you can have them available right on your computer. And then once it expires, it expires. And that's a really cheap way to get it. Kindle, though Amazon will put it on Kindle too.
I didn't even know. See, and that's like, because I'm from like going back to like the normal schooling where it's like you have to go to the bookstore and buy
$200 for a book that you're not going to use ever after that, right?
And that makes things even less accessible to people.
Exactly.
And plus it saves trees.
Exactly.
We're not printing books over and over and over again.
Right.
So any other tips? Something from you, Diane?
You were saying, and it's true, 2019 till now, social media has changed drastically. Okay. Well, in every profession, I think you have to take professional development throughout your career to stay current. Mm-hmm. I know with teachers, it's 90 clock hours in a few years that you have to accumulate. So we talked about staying up to date, and we talked about, you mentioned negotiating. Negotiate with your employer. Mm-hmm. Ask, okay, I'm required to keep up. Mm-hmm. What reimbursement can I get from my employer to maintain my HQT, high quality teacher? That's a term for teachers, but to maintain my excellence in my field.
A lot of employers want to invest in you.
Yes. Yes.
Depending on where you are, that's an investment for them. Yeah.
Right.
You as an employee continuing to learn and stepping into a degree is an investment for your employer. Right. So asking about those resources is an investment for you.
And what do you have to lose? The worst they can say is no.
Right. Yeah. And obviously, I'm not I obviously need to take a class on negotiation because I did not even realize that you can negotiate with the financial people and your employer. I mean, I haven't been to an employer for 15 years since I'm self-employed. I guess I can negotiate with myself. But that's extraordinary.
Invest in yourself.
Yes, invest in yourself. I think that's the takeaway. Right? I really do think that's the takeaway, that 100%. Women should really be investing in themselves with higher education because to be honest with you, it does give you confidence, like we mentioned earlier, but then also it kind of gives you a little bit of freedom because you could be stepping into a new career and now you have financial independence. And that is such a huge thing, especially for women, especially for moms, to have that financial independence. And going back to school, I think, is a great way to do that. So any final remarks, ladies, before we say goodbye?
Yeah. And I would just add, just make sure you have a support system going into it, especially if you've been removed from the higher education scene for a long time. You're going to have to ramp up, right? So there's a learning curve here, right? Mm-hmm. And I would say it's so important not to just throw your full self into higher education, right? You need to be able to still make room for joy. So whatever make you happy, whatever makes Heather happy, right? You still need to keep up with those things and not get lost in this new journey, right? So make room for it all.
Yep. I would say find joy in the journey too, step into it, use your resources. If you've been thinking about it, now is the time. If not now, then when?
Right. Yeah. And there really is no perfect time. I'm going to tell you that right now. You can't, you may be pregnant and you're like, oh, I'm going to wait until I have the kid. Oh no, I'm going to wait until they're one. There's really no perfect time for it to start. So start now. Yeah.
And believe in yourself. Nothing worth attaining comes easily.
Right.
So there are going to be mistakes along the way. Learn from those mistakes and keep on going.
Yes. Yeah.
And education will open up doors for you too. It'll open up a lot of opportunities. It will put you in rooms where maybe you weren't comfortable having conversations or didn't feel like you could be a part of. Now you can. Yes. I think it's extremely empowering.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to be said about just the power of education as a whole for the person and for the field that you want to work in.
Yeah. And I just love this time that we're in. Like, more women are pursuing higher education. And if you just look at the ripple effect of that, like there are a lot more women on the front lines when it comes to advocating for social justice and making change, right?
Educated women.
Educated women. Like if you see an empowered woman, like she means business, right? Right. And so it's just such a beautiful thing to see.
Yes. Well, ladies, this has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on the couch for this empowering conversation. And thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media for all things Every Woman. And don't forget to stay tuned for our next episode. There's so much more to come. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.